I'm doing it. Okay. Stephen, absent. Katie, here. Derek.
Here.
Lane.
Here. All right. Flag salute and prayer.
We're going to face the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to gather here this evening as we represent our students in our district. Thank you so much for another year. We're excited to start. Thank you for our admin and our teachers and all of our staff. And thank you so much for all the students in our district that we get to come here to serve tonight. Help us to make wise decisions and be with our community this school year. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, moving on to section 2, public participation. Pursuant to board policy BER, members of the public should be allowed to attend all meetings of the Board of Education. In addition, the Board of Education will have an item on every regular board meeting agenda that affords citizens the right to speak. Any individual wishing to address the board shall sign in with the board minutes clerk prior to the start of the meeting. The president of the board will then acknowledge only those individuals whose names are listed to address the board. The board will set a maximum time of 21 minutes at each regular meeting for public comment. Those wishing to speak will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they signed in with the board minutes clerk. The president of the board may extend the time limits if necessary. We have one this evening, Lynn Soriano.
Where do I sign in at? I didn't know where to sign in. I'm sorry. First time. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay.
I'll give you, I'm set my timer here, and when you hear the timer go off, I'll do what that means. You got 30 seconds, and you start wrapping up. You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm just here to compliment your staff and administrators on how they handled the problem that basically the second day of school we brought up regarding the construction of the middle school and how it was going to affect the young students and how it was changing the bus schedule. And immediately by, I'm going to say 11 o'clock this morning, I had 3 phone calls, Mr. Melton, Ms. Burnett, everybody had called, they've addressed it, they fixed it. And so it was something that could have become a big worrisome project for the 7th graders and the 12th graders and us, that it did not happen. They addressed it and fixed it, so I just want you to know I'm very appreciative of your staff and where they handled it.
Just to let everybody know, we can't respond to public comment, but we're definitely all ears and listening, so thank you. All right, next is Ryan Birch.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ryan Bursch, live over here in Northwood Lakes. I just want to talk about the car rider changes. So in the morning, I feel that the new entrances, like both here at the intermediate and the high school, are both too close to Stout. It doesn't give enough time for the traffic to space out compared to the entrances that used to be on this side of the building. I'm not sure where the high school was because my son's a freshman, so I'm not sure if it's always been there or not. But basically, because there's not a stop sign except for on Stout, if you're coming off of Stout to turn left to go to the high school or turn right to go here, you have to force your way in pretty much, unless somebody just lets you in. Also, the other issue is that because it's single file now here, then the traffic backs up even worse compared to when it was 2 lanes in on that side and then we merged towards the end there. It also spaced it out further, got more traffic off the street. Now, the cars are way backed up here on 164th and same thing on 178. So, and then lastly, the other issue with it that I see coming in from the right side of the buildings is that the kids then, if you have like multiple students, you have like one in the front seat and then other students in the back, they have to jump and run around the car each time when you drop them off. So that also takes more time and it just, to me, it makes it less efficient. So it's more of a concern on, not saying you'll have to change anything or should change anything yet, but to keep an eye on it because it's kind of a nightmare today. Like last year, I would leave at like 7:15, and I'd be back to my house because I work from home. By probably like 7:30, 7:35. I mean, it was really quick going from here and then over there to the middle school. But today it was like I barely got my daughter here on time after dropping my son off, and both times I basically felt like a jerk because I almost had to just cut somebody off because I wasn't getting a space to get in, coming off the staff. Then you got buses. We were back up past the library today on staff in one of the high schools that are having to wait as well, so just wanted to put that out there.
All right. Appreciate it, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can't respond, but appreciate your comments.
Yeah, sure.
Right, and last, Pamela Dowd.
Yes, my name is Pam Dowdy, and I am here to basically address the policy of letting outside services in for our children. I have been trying to get a copy of the policy stating why we do not let outside services in to serve our children. I'm personally requesting an RBT to come in and work with my child who has several mental illness issues and really needs the service. But I'm not able to get a clear policy or a clear, just even reasoning of why it's not allowed. I wanted to see if somebody could get me this information. I've tried through several different avenues and nobody's getting the information to me.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 3, board reports.
So I hope you had an opportunity to read the board reports. We didn't have the principals do a board report this time. They'll be part of it next time. But we had all the directors and above do a board report. A lot of good information in there. A lot of people have been working really hard to make sure that we were ready for school. But entertain any questions.
Good feedback so far. It's the most hectic time of the year right now for sure, so we understand that. Anything else anybody want to say?
This is gonna be all our construction update, all that section, right? And did we get the portables, how far away from portables being open at those stores did they get over?
They are not yet, but we hopefully OG&E is going to come tomorrow morning, get us power, and then we've got a couple things we have to do with the fire marshal, but we'll hope to have those done by tomorrow as well, and then those by Wednesday, Thursday, please.
My only concern is the Stone Ridge Road, just how, I know it's busting at the seams, and just we need to have a plan in place, a proactive plan in place here. I don't know if it's portable building or what.
Unfortunately, it's probably local roads, but I know that this is on, we've got a similar problem here.
Feedback's been great.
Mr. Billy, do you happen to know what the ADM in high school was last year?
I do not, 1260 would be a guess, I'm not sure.
At the end of the year, 1411, enrollment wise, and 1542. So where's that put us?
28.
It's like 54, a little over 5,400. That was probably about this time.
Yeah, just.
Oh, I don't know. That's all in
And
here.
in the district level, at 5401, that puts us in the top 16, 17.
Yes, it does. And we're at 1542 at the high school as of the 11th. But Mr. Billy, why don't you go ahead and tell him, talk to him about, we're 6A and everything, but football.
Yeah, we'll be 6A and everything right now except softball and football. Football will be 5A the remainder of this year, and then it's on the second year, 2-year rotation. And then softball actually has 2 more years in 5A because they realign in October. All of our other sports will be 6A.
We'll be 6 and football next year.
Correct.
Anything else? Good job. Really, really good. I mean, that's the quick turnaround with all the new staff and seems to be very smooth.
It has been a really smooth start, and I'll tell you more about that whenever I see the report.
Anybody, anything else?
I think the only other, I mean, most of my questions were just over these projects, so did we get most of what, I mean, it looks like we got everything that we're trying to get done over the summer before we got students and staff back into the buildings. Then, I mean, there's a very long list of completed projects, but.
Nothing else, we will move on to item 4, business items. A, discussing the possible action on the TOPS interlocal cooperation agreement.
I'll remind you that that TOPS agreement is just an agreement that has been pre-approved. All the vendors on this, in this TOPS agreement have already gone through the bidding process. So that allows us to move a little more quickly on something like our roof at the admin building. Yeah, and I'll remind you that that roof is composite, and so composite shingles don't, we can't put that into that lease purchase that we are doing with all the other schools. So we'll still get insurance money off of it, but we have to pay that out ourselves at the beginning. And to do that, normally, if we didn't jump into this TOPS agreement, we would have to go through the bid process because it's over $100,000. The bid, what the roofers say is about $112,000. So with this, we'll be able to go ahead and engage with Coriel because they're
Lots of schools across the state
yeah.
are in this one. And this is to be, gets renewed every year.
Yeah, you will have to renew it every year, and then the top people have to renew it.
Questions?
It's just basically a system to help with the bid process, because they're submitting basically standardized prices through them ahead of time.
Exactly what it is.
So that counts as our legal bid requirement.
No more questions, looking for a motion? This is item A.
I'll move to approve the TOPS interlocal cooperation agreement.
Second.
Motion by Katie, second by Greg. Can we get a vote? Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Stephen? Not here. Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, part B, discuss and take possible action on Executive Director of Academic Services job description.
What we did with this is combine the secondary and the elementary curriculum director into one job. And we made that an executive level, so they'll report to me on the organizational chart. This person will be able to align all of our curriculum and all of our academic services pre-K-12.
Questions? Much needed.
Adoption.
Second.
That's
Motion?
Yeah.
Okay, motion by Greg. Motion by Greg for approval, second by Derek. Can you vote? Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Stephen? Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, item C, discuss and take possible action on HVAC job description.
So we have, as everybody has this time of year, a lot of air conditioners that go out. Even though we check those dozens of times, have principals check, have teachers check, we still have air conditioners that go out. We think that hiring this HVAC guy is going to be able to help us get to those air conditioners at a more timely manner. We still would use mirrors for some work. Just one person couldn't do it all by themselves, but it will be kind of working in tandem.
Once again, much needed for the growth in all facilities.
Who's our primary go-to, the mirrors then, or is it this person?
It'll be this person, we'll have this person do everything that they can, but if it's too large, say we have to put one of our large chillers, or this guy can work on chillers, but if it's something where it takes more than one set of hands, we'll have Mears come out and do it.
Make a motion to approve the HVAC job.
A motion by Derek,
Second.
second by Greg. We vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
And Lane, yes. All right, moving on to item B. Discuss and take possible action on agreement with Center for Educational Law for legal services for $1,000 for fiscal year 23-24.
So this just enters us into an agreement where we can use them. We won't be out of the agreement with RFR if a board member or somebody on the staff wanted to use them. They charge us by the time that we call them. So there's just a number of us on the administrative team that feel very comfortable with Center for Education Law. We've got good relationships with them where we can text or email, and those are cheaper contacts than if we call them or have them come out. So I think we'll end up saving money, but for sure we're going to have we just got a better relationship than I don't even know the people at RFR. I'm sure they're excellent attorneys. I'm just trying to go backwards with somebody I'm familiar with.
On the, through the past year, we've been going through updates to policy with our current legal team. Are they going to continue that role, or are we going to start all over again?
Well, that's a really good question. So right now, in speaking to Ms. Campbell, the policies we're hard pressed to know exactly where we are. So what I want to do, if this happens tonight, I'm going to talk to Center for Education Law, I'm going to talk to RFR, and then we'll make a decision. When I say we'll talk to them, and whatever seems to be the best course is who we'll go with. Totally dependent on how we make that work. My understanding, Lisa, I'm going to let you explain about how they're approved, but the whole thing's not approved.
Right, so I'm sure you guys remember, we would bring a section at a time for your review, and you would approve them, but they did not go into effect until the entire policy book was approved. So for the most part, we're operating off of our Center for Education Law policies from prior years. The only policies that right now we're practicing with are those ones from RFR that were new policies that we needed to adopt. So when you look on the website, those are the ones at the top that were new.
And will the process be very similar to the RFR? If the revisions begin to occur, will it be the same process, pretty lengthy, or will it be?
I can't speak intelligently about that yet, but I can't imagine there not being a faster process. I would like to, if we go back right now we're using Center for Education Law. It seems to me that if that's what we're using, that we would adopt the policies that you guys have already adopted into that format, which is slightly different, but it's
Just the updated ones.
and just to get it going. But I'll have more information on you for that by Monday.
Any other questions there? Great. Kate?
So I'm just confirming, we're just agreeing to pay their fee to work with them, and then it'll be hourly basis, so we're not pausing anything we're already doing.
That's correct. And another thing I forgot to tell you is that they are working on some legal stuff that we still have ongoing lawsuits. So it's not like we're not using them now. We are. Yeah.
Questions? All right. Looking for a motion? I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement with the Center for Educational Law for Legal Services for $1,000 for fiscal year 23-24.
Second.
Second by Derek. We get a vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane? Yes. All right, item E, discuss and take possible action on Center for Communication and Engagement Agreement for $1,000 for professional services for fiscal year 23-24.
So what this is basically an insurance policy for us. The lady that owns this company's name is Kathleen Kennedy, and she spent a lot of years as the main person for Oklahoma City Public Schools. She's got tons of knowledge, and I've talked to her over the years, and I've got friends that have used her. We have a communications person, and so when she came out and talked to Riley and I, 95% of what she does, Riley does for us. We don't need that. So we're not engaging her in the whole package. What we're basically doing is saying, if, we're not spending a dime today, but if we had something significant happening, we had lots of information that needed to go out quickly, we could call her, we're under contract with her, and then she would charge us by the hour and help us with letters, emails, whatever we want, or even advice.
Questions? Derek? Greg? Katie?
Is there an example of what we would use, like, would you just,
So,
you just said that, but.
yes, email, social
Just
media,
in
anything.
general
Yes,
communication?
let's say that we had something significant happen at the high school today, and it happened at the end of the day, and now we're trying to get information out as quickly as possible. Riley can't write all of that and get it in all the places, and there may be things that because Riley's, young, she doesn't think to do. Now, we've got a lot of experience here too, but it's just an insurance policy. It gives us the opportunity to have another set of eyes say, don't forget to do this, I can write that, whatever it is.
And this is basically like a retainer that we're not spending until we need to use it.
Any other questions? All right, looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement.
A motion by Derek to approve the agreement.
No second.
Greg, second. Can you get a vote? Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane? Yes. All right. Part F, discuss and take possible action on the ACT work keys agreement for paraprofessional assessments not to exceed $1,200 for fiscal year 23-24.
We'll let Patty explain this to you.
We have 19 paraprofessionals that need credentialing, so we can do that one of two ways. We can have paracredit testing, which we would farm them out to take the test, or we can do work keys, which we can farm their own site. It's less expensive. If they fail the test, they only have to take the portion of the test that they failed. They don't have to take the entire test. Or I recommend work keys for paraprofessionals.
Are those new paras coming in that we've recruited, or some of them just haven't?
Most of them are new. The state does require us for having tier 2 paraprofessionals who work with special education children to have credentialing.
Where else is work keys been in my career tech?
Yes,
Okay.
career tech and operator.
So help us expedite the whole process.
Yes, and it'll be way more convenient for our employees.
And this will probably just be an ongoing tool that we're.
Yes.
Questions? Gary, Greg?
Nope.
Katie?
I'll move to approve, ACT workkeys agreement.
A second.
Motion by Katie, second by Gary. Did we vote? Gary?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, moving on to item G, discuss and take possible action on memorandum of understanding for Southern Nazarene University cohort master's program.
So I'm very excited about this. We need to grow our own administrators. We need to have an opportunity, we need to put in place things where it gives our teachers an opportunity to get that master's degree, which is required to be an administrator. So SNU, Southern Nazarene University in Bethany, will come to us, like into this room, or if we ever get back into the administration building, we would use that room. And once a week on Wednesday night, they would have class for 4 hours with as many as up to 32 students. So we have to have 16, I believe. We can go up to 32. So I think we'll have a pretty good showing. We'll find out. I haven't sent this to the teachers. I haven't even talked to them about it yet because you guys have to prove it the first step. So then it's a discounted price from what somebody that just goes to SNU will get. And at the end of about 18 months, they'll have a master's degree. And it'll be right here. They didn't leave Piedmont.
And do they offer a doctorate?
They do.
Questions? Greg? Katie?
I mean, what is the district doing besides the packaging and offering of it? Are we, I mean, financially?
We're not doing anything financially. We have they will allow our people, our administrators, our principals, and central office staff to teach the classes if they want. They don't have to teach it, but think about that. We've got our own people who are talking about the Piedmont way of doing things, teaching a class in human resources or, relationships or, whatever it is. It doesn't cost us, and it does cost our teachers, but it's a reduced price. The main advantage, I think, there's a couple of advantages. One, they're with all Piedmont people. Two, they're being taught by some of the classes will be their own, but they don't leave the Piedmont area. They stay here after school and come over and go to class one night a week. It's as convenient for getting a degree as you're going to be able to get.
Yeah.
And they still have a choice. If they want to go up on stage.
That's right. They don't have to. I got it.
Other questions? All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding for Southern Nazarene. Okay, motion by Lane, second by Derek. Vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, part H, discuss and take possible action on the middle school construction change order for private gas lines feeding East Building in the amount of $22,058.
Yes. Because it wasn't properly identified, our construction hit a private line. When they realized they did that, they tried to stabilize it in the stabilization process. They damaged it. That's when they took it to Stacy Group, asked Stacy Group if they had approval to lower the line, to match the drain, or the drainage for the civil engineer drawings, and they gave that approval to our construction, and that's when they lowered the line themselves.
Deliver the bad news.
That,
Deliver the bad news. Joking, that's it's a big project.
Yeah.
boring to me. 35 bucks a foot.
Just to remind you, if we do a change order on some of our construction, that means we're not taking it out of the contingency. So this is coming as a change order, this is something that will still come out of the building fund. I mean, it could be the building fund, or probably the bond fund, but it's not part of the contingency. So we're getting pretty close on the contingency money right now. So if we decide not to do it, we do this as a change order.
Questions? For a motion?
Move to approve the change order.
Katie, I'll second. Get a vote, Derek? Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right. Part I, discuss and take possible action on declaration of hours versus days as stated in policy EBA, school hours for the school year 23-24.
Same thing that you've probably done every year that you've been on the board. We just have to declare whether we're going to use days or we're going to use hours. And then that helps us on inclement weather days. So if we have more hours built into the schedule than we have time, then we might not make up that day, or we may.
Questions?
Move for approval of the declaration on hours versus days.
Motion by Greg, second by Derek. You can vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, part J, discuss and take possible action on proposed revision to bus driver compensation schedule for fiscal year 23-24.
Go back to Matt.
Yeah, we're excited about this. Bus drivers they're hard to find right now, so this is gonna make us competitive. It's gonna help us recruit them. Appreciate Dr. Rockenberger being open to the compensation schedule increase, and they can make us an inviting place to be and come drive a bus to Piedmont.
So did I hear right that the first day buses were fully staffed?
They were full staff.
That's
And our department, we didn't have anybody in our offices driving.
It's even better.
first. I mean, there people would well have that around this area, fully staffed.
Josh Richfield is done a great job.
See here?
He is.
Good job.
And Matt, how many Suburbans did you have out running chasing kids?
Zero.
Zero.
So you say this makes us competitive. Where does this put us compared to Deer Creek, Yukon, Mustang?
I'm amazed. Josh?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question to answer. And if you look at just the pay scale, this would put us ahead of them. And the difference is we don't pay teacher retirement for support employees. And so one thing we ran into this summer is we did have several people come that were experienced from Putnam City, Mustang, Yukon, that were very interested in joining our team. But when they looked at the 70% they have to pay for TRS, we weren't competitive at all. So this would help us attract and retain those people.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed revision to the bus driver compensation.
Motion by Derek.
Second.
Greg, second. For the vote, Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right. Part K, discuss and take possible action on revision to assistant athletic director and facilities manager compensation schedule for fiscal year 23-24.
So when you guys hired Matt to do the assistant AD, we didn't have that whole facilities policy and all that behemoth that is a good thing because our community is going to get to use our facilities. That takes a lot of work. You've got to get the insurance, you've got to get the scheduling done. So that's another thing that he's willing to take on. We were going to give him a stipend for that, and we were told by the attorneys that on an administrator that unless you can prove that that couldn't be part of his job, just by saying it's part of his job, you need to add it to his contract. So that's what we're doing. because we couldn't say that in good faith, you know, you could tell somebody, an administrator, you had to do that.
And as one who has done it, it's a lot of work. Mr. Billy, you can attest to that as well.
Yes.
Any questions? Very good. Katie? I'll make a motion that we approve the revision to Assistant Athletic Director and Facilities Manager compensation schedule for fiscal year 23-24. Second by Derek. Vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right. Part L, discuss and take possible action on extra duty contract in the amount of $5,000 with Michonne Buckner for coordination of virtual school through Edmonton enrollment.
So the one thing that we did want to pull out of that secondary curriculum job description was the virtual piece. Those kids, we've got quite a few kids in virtual school, and we need somebody that's going to spend a fair amount of time on that. And so we need somebody that's familiar with the kids, that's familiar with the mental program that is used. And so Michelle was a natural choice for that. And so Mark Melton visited with her and came up with this solution. And so this is what we're proposing tonight.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the extra duty contract, $5,000 from Michonne Buckner.
Motion by Derek,
Second.
second by Greg. We can get a vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. Letter M, discuss and take possible action on proposed payment of professional development stipends.
Just teachers that attended professional development this summer, I think that we offered, is that right, Lisa?
What's sped and math?
We had several different groups that came in for different purposes, so this is compensating for it.
Questions? Okay. All right, looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed payment of medical consulting stipends.
Motion by Derek. I'll second. Can we get a vote here? Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. Moving on to item 5, consent agenda. Discuss and vote to approve on all consent items. These items may be approved by one board motion unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items.
One thing, I don't know how this has been done in the past, but what I'd like to do is have our CFO during this part of the board meeting spend just a little bit of time talking you through our finances, and giving you a little bit of information, and you can ask any questions that you want, and then you pull anything out or vote all of it together. It's the perfect time for her to give you some really good information about finances. Jennifer?
Okay. So we will start with the general fund revenue sheet. And basically, what I've done here is just separated it by our sources of revenue, and then I categorized those into district, intermediate, state, and federal. Just to give you an idea of those groupings and how much we usually get compared to where we're at right now for the year. We do not have our estimate of need yet, so that appropriated column currently is the amount of revenue we brought in last year for those individual items. So we'll just start with at the top district, 1110 taxes. We brought in $9.584 million last year. So far we've collected $26,502 in July. So that top section of district source revenue is currently the collections are down $18,751. And a lot of that was in the general fund revenue just because we haven't moved any money from activity fund for summer stuff yet into general fund. like the baseball camps and those kinds of things. Intermediate sources, so we are currently down $1,867 on our county formula mortgage tax. And a lot of that is just timing on when people pay their mortgage taxes and when that money flows over to us. We had to go through changing over everything with the counties, so that has taken a little extra time getting our money, because I had to send my bond information and Drew's information so that we were all legal for them to send us the money. So I think we'll catch up next month. State, if you will look in that appropriated column, there are 3 numbers in italics. The 3210, which is our state aid, 3250, which is our flexible benefit allowance that we receive from state aid, and 3420 textbook money. So those 3 numbers we actually already have allocations on from the State Department, and those are true numbers as of right now that we should be receiving. Those will change as the year goes on. We do October 1 child count, that will affect our state aid. As we report new employees on our FBA audit that will be in the fall, that amount will change as well, but that's where we're at right now. So we don't receive any state aid payments in July, so that's why there's lots of zeros there. But we did receive some of the county money gross production motor vehicle and stuff. So on the second page is our federal sources, and currently we brought in a lot of deposits in August, but not for July, so you'll see those next month, and now those are claims from the end of last year that we filed in July. So we've collected 0 so far there. And then just to give you an idea, our grand total revenue for July is $345,363.80. And then you will also see our fund balance carryover was $5.563 million. And then our expenditures are currently at $544,165.71. So our cash balance is at $5,364,000. Questions about any of that? I really just wanted to make it a little bit easier to read for you guys and just kind of, make it so you know a little bit more.
So,
On the federal funds, do we still have, and how much balance as far as all the CARES Act, all of those funds that were made available?
So the CARES Act money, the COVID-19 prevention, ESSER 3 and ESSER 2 set aside are all done. I'll take that back. We have spent our ESSER 2 set aside. We went ahead and used it for buses this year, and so we had to have it spent by September 30th, so we went ahead and just moved on that to not lose any of those funds. What's remaining of the American Rescue Plan funds, we will have until next September to spend. So we've got a little bit of that. And then the school council for grant has renewed for this year as well.
And about how much is that?
I think it's about $350,000 that we have left. Okay. And the next page, I went ahead and did one of these for every fund. I don't know that I'll do that every month. We'll just kind of see how revenue, because revenue doesn't come in as much on the other funds, but I just wanted to show you everything right now. So next page is building fund. And again, not appropriated, it's just based on what we brought in last year. Total collections for the building fund have been $3,786.10. And that is down $1.2 million from last year, and that came in as money from the previous year we were ready to collect. So it came in July pretty quickly. So that's kind of the difference there. But our cash balance is sitting at $3,434,000. And then child nutrition. Again, no collections in July because we weren't doing summer feeding, but the fund balance carryover was $3.430 into this year from last year. And then the final page has the bond fund and the sinking fund. So the bond fund, we did have a bond sale that was done in July. Well, the money came in July, the sale was in June, but we got the money in July. So that accounts for the full $9.27 million that's there. It's currently at $431,000 from last year. There was a bond sale at the same time that was a little over $8 million. So that with our carryover, we're sitting at a cash balance of $12,791,000. And in the sinking fund, our collections are at $40,583.77, which is down $5,900 from last year at this time. And with a fund balance, our cash balance is $3.4 million. And that money just builds until we have to make a payment. Questions about any of that?
I like this format.
Yeah, thank you for this.
All right, and we'll move into the encumbrances for approval. So, you guys have previously approved 26 purchase orders at the end of June to bring it into July. Looking at those purchase order amounts versus what we paid out yearly to those, because a lot of them were utilities or renewing companies, we needed to add some money to them. So I just went ahead and we put them in the new financial software. We increased those amounts to what we would need for the full year. My goal is to not come with change orders every month. I would like to do blanket POs that last us. And so it will cut down on what you're seeing every month and keep us timely with our payments to the vendors, so we're not waiting 30 days for you to approve a change order to make a payment. So that's why those first 26 are the same vendors, they're just increased amounts. I will just ask if you have any questions over any of those.
Janicking, we'll make sure that is releasing, has it been the standard contract price? Is it pretty consistent?
General question, do we have goals, like a percentage we'd like to increase our carryover? Like, this is a great format to look at for like 12 months from now. Do we have
So
something?
at different levels of funding for a school, you have certain amount of percentages that you can do. So I don't know what the percentages were that are at what the 40 million. Do you know?
I want to say it's around,
And then not everything, like I just quoted 40 million, but not everything of that 40 million counts towards the,
correct.
right? So that's a great question, Pete. The answer is I don't know. I know somebody who will find out for me and have it by tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll get it to you.
Just to add, so just being so new, I do not have a 12-month plan right now, but yes, we will have a plan. Once we get all of our payroll, our teachers and stuff get added to September's payroll, once we get all of that encumbered, because that's going to be our biggest expense every year. So we'll get that encumbered, we'll see where we're sitting after that. Most of these POs are going to hopefully, like I said, last us all year with utilities and those kinds of things. So it puts us in a place where we kind of know what money is left over and what we want to do with that and how much of that we want to try to hang on to. So we will have that, it will just be about another month.
I like those discussions a little bit so we know where to check back in next year.
Yes.
This kind of relates to the Black Memorial. You'll have are you going to update us in the superintendent's?
I don't have, the only update that I have for you on that is that, and that's good, I was waiting for one myself, so Matt's going to tell us exactly what he knows.
So they tested last week and mold was for the most part removed, but they did have some open air areas they were concerned about. They felt like got into the outside. They retested today. They should have those results by tonight or tomorrow morning, and we should be on the reconstruction hopefully by Wednesday.
Good work.
Good. I don't have anything, there are some activity fund, requests for just some fundraisers that were left off at the one that you approved at the end of June. We just kind of noticed monitoring on our office as requisitions started for the year that some things had gotten missed, and so we sent that back out to the site financial secretaries, and they've added some things for your approval tonight. And then we have activity fund transfers, and my understanding is this is a yearly occurrence, where the money that's deposited in the football game concession all year then gets split between the touchdown club and the band boosters equally. So that's what that is. And then we've got at the very end of the overnight trip request. Softball to Blue Springs tournament in Missouri in September, and then cross country to the Chili Pepper Festival in Fayetteville, Arkansas in September.
Any other questions? Very good. No other questions? Looking for a motion to consent agenda?
I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through J.
I'll second. Katie, second by Lane. Vote, please. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, item 6, executive session, part A, vote to convene. We're not to convene into executive session to discuss the following. 1, appeal of the promotion of student A, student at Piedmont Public Schools, 25 OS 307B5. 2, matters involving a specific student who receives special services where disclosure of student name would violate confidentiality requirements, 25 OS 307B6 and 25 OS 307B7. Part 3, employment is listed on attachment C to pursuant to 25 OS 307B1 and 25 OS 307B2. And 4, negotiations concerning employees and representatives of employee groups, 25 OS 307B1 and 25 OS 307B2.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
All right, got a motion by Derek,
I'll second.
second by Katie. Vote, Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yeah.
Lane, yes. All right, it is 6:53. We will enter into executive session.
We're going back.
Board returns to open session at 8:25. Executive session minutes compliance announcement. Do I have that here?
I think it's listed in the worksheet.
Let's find the full thing.
Sorry. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Sorry. A new format for me here. So. The board entered into executive session at 6:53 p.m. to discuss the following. Appeal of the promotion of student A, a student at Piedmont Public Schools, 25 OS 307B5. 2 matters involving a specific student who receives special services where disclosure of student name would violate confidentiality requirements, 25 OS 307B6 and 25 OS 307B7. 3, employment is listed on attachment C pursuant to 25 OS 307B1 and 25 OS 307B2. And 4, negotiations concerning employees and representatives of employee groups, 25 OS 307B1 and 25 OS 307B2. Those present in executive session were Derek Jones, Katie Kornman, Greg Duffy, Lane Jones, Dr. Drew Eichelberger, Lisa Campbell, parents of student A from item 1, Patty Valencefen, Kylie Rios, and Caitlin Smith. I say Lisa Campbell as well. And no action was taken. Moving on to item 7, action item, discuss and take possible action to uphold or reverse the promotion of student A, a student at Piedmont Public Schools. Motion.
Make a motion to reverse the promotion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Derek to reverse the promotion, and a second by Katie. Get a vote. Derek.
Yes.
Katie.
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Lane. Yes. B, discuss and take possible action on agreement with BC Behavioral for a student who receives special services, item 6A2.
Make a motion to approve the agreement with BC Behavior.
Second.
Motion by Derek to approve and a second by Greg. The vote, Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. And item C, discuss and take possible action on employment as listed on attachment C.
I move to approve the employment as listed on attachment C.
Motion by Katie,
Second.
second by Derek. And the vote, Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. And item D, discuss and take possible action on 2023-2024 PAE negotiated agreement.
Make a motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion by Derek, second by Greg. And the vote, Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lane, yes. All right, item 8, new business. Discussing possible action regarding new business. This business in accordance with 25 OS 311A9 is limited to any matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting this agenda.
No new business.
No new business. All right. Moving on to item 9, everybody's favorite, adjournment.
Move adjourned.
Greg. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Second by Katie. Vote. Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yeah.
Lane? Yes. And the time is 8:30.
Yeah,
Thank